In the red corner, we've got this creepy little guy. He's obsessive, he's a stalker, and you don't really want to be friends with him. But he's also a sweetheart, you know, and he'll stop at nothing for a chance at love. Aww. And I mean nothing. This is, of course, Joe Goldberg from the show You. Woo! And in the blue corner, we've got one of my classic favorite characters. He has high accolades in the murder game. He's dedicated to his craft, and he's also a little bit of a sad crybaby boy. He's a bit weird. He's not like the other girls. Ah, that's Dexter Morgan. Woo! And today we're going to pit them against each other in a series of 10 rounds to figure out who is the better character in terms of a bunch of different things. Basically, just a subjective list of who I like more through this very selective list of questions that I've come up with to determine who I think is going to be better. And so yeah, it's about as simple as that. Let's just get to it, starting off with round one. Whose morals are worse / who's more justified? This seems like a really simple question when you first look at it, because it's like, Dexter, he's killed hundreds of people, right? Hundreds, maybe 1,000 people, who knows, throughout the years. He's killed so many damn people. And Joe, he's only killed, what, 10 people? 10 to 15 people, I'd say, something like that. He doesn't kill a lot, but Joe kills indiscriminately. Joe kills whoever the fuck stands in his way. Like, whoever is just an inconvenience, whether they're innocent or not, they take it. He takes them out. Dexter, on the other hand, though, has a very strict set of rules, as we all know. He's got the code, and so he will only kill those who he deems deserves it. And though this isn't legally binding, of course, and though that there's a lot of moral questions to be had there, you can't just take the life of whoever the fuck you want. That's obviously objectively pretty wrong. But I gotta say that he does stick to that code, and Joe is kind of just pure evil. He is completely selfish and will take out just whoever, whenever, as long as they're slightly inconvenient to what he wants. And with that, I actually think I have to say Dexter. Even though he's killed hundreds of more people, I kind of think that Dexter is the one who has higher morals than Joe. Is that a crazy determination? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm giving this round to Dexter, sorry. Round number 2. Who would win in a physical fight? Okay, so for this one, I actually think, honestly, it's kind of a boring answer, but I think that this is maybe tied. Look, I think that Joe is a bit more out of practice, I suppose. You know, again, he hasn't killed so many people. But Dexter's not exactly like, you know, six-pack action man Captain America type. He takes people out with needles most of the time. They're unconscious, you know? He's not exactly physically intimidating, exactly. I'm sure he could beat me up, but like, in terms of, you know, fighting against Joe and Dexter, I think that they're probably about on par, to be honest. They both look like fit guys and whatever. I don't know. Maybe you completely disagree, but I'm giving this round a tie. Round number 3. Who is less creepy / who can blend in more? Okay, now this one is actually a pretty complicated question to answer, to be honest, because both characters are immaculate at blending in. They can seem like your everyday normal people. They can smile politely, they can be charming, they can definitely blend in. Whether it's at a job, whether it's with their families, whether it's with whoever it is, they are very good at seeming like normal people while, you know, bubbling up with rage inside for certain different reasons, with a lot of stuff going on and complications in their lives. I kind of think that I've got to say that Joe is more creepy. He's the guy that is just like, ugh, like there's something about him, you know, he's fucking masturbating in the streets as he watches people through the windows and everything like that. Joe is a dude who is seriously messed up in certain ways, but you know, obviously Dexter is as well. You don't kill hundreds of people without seeming a bit creepy. All in all, I gotta say who can blend in more is pretty even. Like, I do think that they can both act like normal people, they can both kind of make jokes with normal people and all that kind of stuff. They can both seem like normal, loving people, and they both get into relationships and all this stuff. They both, you know, people around them like the characters, and that's a really interesting part about their stories. But this is a two-part question: who can blend in better, but also who is more creepy? And I got to give this round to Joe. He is more creepy.
If it wasn't clear, that means Dexter gets the point.
Round number 4. Who is the better lover? So going into the last question, it was all about what people think of them, you know, people's perception of these characters. And this one is similar, you know, in terms of actually having and holding relationships with people. Who is better at that kind of thing? Now, Dexter obviously has Rita there, and there's definitely a deep connection between those two. And Joe obviously has a few different life partners, if you want to call them that. But the thing about his kind of partners is that he is completely obsessed with them. them, but he can also drop them off just instantly. If something turns him off about them, instant just doesn't give a shit about him anymore, and he will be obsessed with the next woman he sees. Just literally probably the very next woman he sees is like, oh my god, it's you. And so with that, I gotta say, Dexter is better at holding long-term relationships, I suppose, but Joe is better at picking up multiple partners, proving that he has charm. So I actually think I'm gonna give this one a tie, maybe. Is that insane? I'm giving this one a tie. Round number 5. Who's more slippery / who can get out of any situation? And I actually think we're going to go with another fucking tie with this round, because both of the characters find themselves in seemingly impossible situations to get out of. You know, somebody's about to walk into the room and see everything that is going on, that they're killing people or whatever. Both get caught in situations where maybe they're stuck somewhere, maybe another killer is going to kill them, or the police are going to catch them, or whatever the hell it is. They both get in these sort of sticky situations that seem like it's going to be the very end of them, but they always get out of these things. Sometimes they do get caught by the characters that matter. You know, obviously Love from You found out about Joe, and then they kind of started a whole new level of their relationship where they're both fucking crazy people. And Dexter obviously had a bunch of drama with different people finding out about his activities throughout the series. A few people find out, a few people work alongside him, a few people are disgusted by him. But who is more slippery? Who can get out of any situation? I feel like I want to give this one to Dexter. I mean, given season 2 with the fucking whole entire FBI after him and all the tight situations he finds himself in, I want to give it to Dexter. But yeah, this is another tied round. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm like just chickening out every single round, giving them ties, but it just feels fair. Round number 6. Who is smarter? So this one feels obvious when you first look at it and you think Joe, right? He's book smart, you know? He's book smart, he's maybe a bit street smart, and he's an intelligent dude. But I think that this is kind of a farce. The thing about Joe is that, yes, he's read a lot of books or whatever, but he is super pretentious, and he really plays up how intelligent he actually is, when really most of the time he's just this obsessive doofus who keeps getting in his way whenever he finds a new goal in life, basically. Dexter, on the other hand, obviously is a forensic scientist or whatever the hell you would call it. He works with the FBI and everything. He is obviously a very intelligent dude with the blood spatter analysis shit and all that stuff. These are both very intelligent people who can keep getting away with what they're getting away with because they're both intelligent. But I gotta give this one to Dexter, I think, because Joe, as I said, I think that yes, while he is intelligent, I think it's mostly pretentious bullshit that he spouts out, making himself look smarter than he actually is. You know, sure, he can recite poetry, but can he do much more? I'm not exactly sure. Round number 7. Who is more fashionable? I know this is kind of a weird round. This is kind of a weird question, but I did this one in my previous video that was pitting Dexter against Jigsaw, who was more fashionable, mostly so I could make the joke about Jigsaw and his backwards cap in the flashback, trying to make him look young. But this time, I'm also going to wrestle with this question a little bit. You know, we always love to see Dexter in his Hawaiian shirts and just normal looking shirts and stuff. You know, he wears bright pink, he wears bright blue and stuff. It's the whole Miami thing. And then in New Blood, he's wearing a lot of coats and everything. It's all snowy and cold. He wears clothes. I know nothing about fashion, if that's not obvious, but then there is Joe, who is, I don't know, probably more fashionable. Again, I don't know anything about fashion, but I'm sure the young girlies of today probably would find Joe, you know, Penn Badgley more attractive, more fashionable and all that stuff, so I guess I'm giving this round to him. Round number 8. Whose media is more respected? So I would say that, you know, initially it just seems like Dexter is the obvious answer, because it's like his show went on for many more years. You know, Dexter was loved enough for Dexter New Blood to come out nearly 10 years later and everything. There is a dedicated fan base there. But that fan base has been betrayed a few times. Though I like both season finales more than a lot of the general audience who fucking adamantly hate the endings of both season 8 and New Blood, I will say that both those endings of season 8 and New Blood heavily turned off a lot of the fans, and a lot of the fans are completely disinterested and cannot trust the Dexter franchise at this point anymore. They do not give a shit. And so I actually have to say that, you know, if you actually think about it, is a pretty damn popular show on Netflix. It's one of the few shows on Netflix that is getting to season 4 and maybe beyond. Usually shows at this point get cancelled, but obviously You is doing something right. And I gotta say, I actually think that at this point, You is probably more respected. I think back in its golden era, back in the day, Dexter definitely would have been higher rated, better respected, all that stuff, especially back in like season 4 days. But you know, Dexter has gone off track and people just aren't quite in love with the series as much as they used to be anymore. I still love the whole series. I still even love New Blood, even if I don't quite love the ending, even more so in retrospect than I did about a year ago. But at this point, I gotta say that You is definitely more respected, at least upon the masses. In terms of popularity and all that stuff, You, I gotta say, is more popular, more respected, and the round is going to Joe. Round number 9. Who is more dedicated to their lifestyle? So both the characters here, as we know, are obsessed. They are addicted. Joe is addicted to women and stalking. Dexter is addicted to killing. And they are both quite dedicated in this. They don't really have hobbies apart from this. They both go all in. Their entire lives really revolve around their goals regarding these things. You know? Joe doesn't do much else apart from stalking people, apart from trying to find love. Dexter doesn't do much apart from trying to keep up his facade of seeming like a normal guy and then killing people when he can. And so both the characters very much dedicate a large portion of their life to these things. But Dexter definitely holds up a pretty high level of like self-control. Whereas Joe, he will go off the wheel. He will just go mad in an instant if something goes wrong. Desperately trying to solve issues and stuff, but always kind of fleeing at the last moment. You know, as we know throughout the seasons, he just moves across the country. He changes his entire identity. That's not quite dedication, is it? It's not exactly a criticism because what the fuck else was he gonna do? But Dexter there was better at holding up his lifestyle throughout the entire show. He was better at keeping his name. He was better at keeping his job and relationships and all that stuff. But he also held that self-control of keeping with his moral code and sticking to what Harry taught him all those years ago. So I gotta give this round to Dexter. And round number 10, this is the last round. Who makes the bigger impact in universe? And I'm so sorry, you fans, but this one is clearly going to Dexter. The Bay Harbor Butcher haunts Miami. You know, everybody knows about him, at least sometimes. Sometimes they kind of pretend that he's not as big a deal. But other times, like in season 2, the Bay Harbor Butcher is feared among the masses. He has marked his name on this town and everybody is quite afraid of him. But whereas Joe, no one really knows that Joe exists. Joe's a bit of a creep. Everybody underestimates him and that is something that makes the character interesting. You know, I think that nobody's really intimidated by Joe at first. Nobody really thinks much of him. Everybody might think he's just a little pretentious geek. Others might be charmed by him and like him. But nobody's really scared of Joe until he gets them in his weird book preserving room or until he's actually killing people. Nobody's really scared of Joe in any other situation, I would say. Dexter, on the other hand, while they might not actually be scared of Dexter Morgan, his persona of the Bay Harbor Butcher is something that has spread fear across his area, and so I'm giving this round to Dexter. And so with that, with a bit of a landslide, I am giving this to Dexter. It was a bit predictable, I have to admit, because I love Dexter. I like Joe, but I don't love Joe. Dexter is definitely my homeboy here. I was rooting for him here, and I just gotta say, naturally, through these questions, I came to determine that I do think that Dexter is the stronger character and the stronger show. But it's completely subjective, and if you have different answers for these questions, show your reasoning out. Tell me why I'm wrong, because this is just a fun, stupid little thing. It's not that serious. Tell me who you think would win in these rounds, and yeah, let's have a bit of a debate about who is the better killer, who is the better character, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's about it, so I'm gonna go, but before we go, please do the things, which are like, comment, share, subscribe, all that shit, and I'm outie. Goodbye.